Hello, Ken. This is my Michigan versus Iowa pregame analysis. Before I start to break things down too much, remember to like, subscribe, comment, and hit that notification bell down below. I greatly appreciate it. All right, Michigan made it, finally. After many long years, Michigan has finally made it to the Big Ten title game. And quite frankly, I like the matchup. I think they have a very good chance of winning their first Big Ten conference championship since the conference championship game has been in effect. First one in a long time, and we just have to show up and take care of business. And if we do that, if we play Michigan football, then I don't see any reason why Michigan can't successfully win this game. Yeah, I don't see any reason why we can't win the game. I'm looking through Iowa's schedule, teams they've played so far, the teams they've beat, teams they've lost to. And it's not really all that impressive, I got to be honest. I mean, you could say the same thing about Michigan's record, sure, and I would say that's a fair argument. But Michigan, these last few weeks, have played some pretty tough teams. But, I mean, outside of one quarter or one half of bad football, Michigan's really played fantastic this year. They had the bad second half against Michigan State, which cost them the game. And that was their one loss of the season. So as long as they avoid a letdown, I really think that Michigan should be favored in this one. So let's get right to the predictions. I'm going to take Michigan by 10. I'm feeling pretty good about this game. I think after the way that we took care of business against Ohio State, that we will be ready and prepared for Iowa. I think this team is still hungry. I don't think they've reached... Obviously, I don't think that they've reached their goals yet, and so they're going to come out fired up and ready to go. We do a good job of taking care of the football. I think teams can get in trouble very quickly if you start turning the ball over to Iowa. Then you got problems. They're a very disciplined and sound football team, but I think Michigan's just better, so I'm going to take Michigan by 10. I'm going to take our run game as a whole, not one player, but the run game, to get over 200 yards rushing and 3 touchdowns. And defensively, I think we continue to get after the quarterback. I mean, if we can do what we did against Ohio State, there's no reason to think that we couldn't do it against Iowa as well. I think Iowa's offensive line is good. I would compare them to Ohio State's. So I'm going to predict that our defense gets 4 sacks in this one. And a bunch of quarterback hurries again, because just like Ohio State, Iowa's, if they don't come out playing this way, they're going to have to adjust and start to throw some quick passes and get the ball out of their quarterback's hand quickly when they have to throw. Yeah, those are my predictions. I think Iowa is a very good football team. They're a very sound football team. I do not think that they're as talented as, say, in Ohio State. So as long as Michigan comes out and takes care of business, don't let what happened against Michigan State happen again. I think they'll be all right. Another thing that helps Michigan is that Iowa doesn't run a lot of hurry up offensively. They're a more traditional huddle up and get set, take your time. Don't worry about what the defense is doing. Just do your thing, and that helps Michigan a little bit because Michigan loves to sub on defense. So if they can play against a team that isn't going to run a lot of hurry up, that's better for them. Let's look at Iowa's schedule here. Okay, so they lost to Purdue, lost to Wisconsin, 2 very different football teams, but they did end up beating Penn State. Granted, it was only by 3, and they got them at home. It would maybe have been a different story had they had to go on the road for that game against Penn State, but it's hard to look back at these games and compare them to what might be or what could have been. I'm trying to think back to that Penn State game. I don't remember if Clifford was hurt or if he got hurt during the game. Those things take their toll on a team. But yeah, Purdue beat them. Wisconsin beat them 27-7, and Michigan beat Wisconsin quite handily early in the season. So I don't ever like taking common opponents and trying to figure out, oh, well, Michigan beat them, so they should also beat Iowa, and it never really works that way. Each game is its own has its own dynamic, is its own entity, and it never works if you're trying to be like, well, we beat this team by a lot, we should beat Iowa, no problem. It doesn't work like that. Each game is in its own little bubble. So I like to use, I'll look at the records and kind of give that, an idea of where the team is at. But I would never say, well, Iowa lost to Wisconsin 27-7 and Michigan beat Wisconsin, so Michigan should blow out Iowa. Doesn't work like that. Not usually. So, there's opportunities for Michigan here. I don't think that I'm looking through their schedule real quick. I don't think Iowa has played against a team that can run the ball the way that Michigan does. The closest one would be Wisconsin, and they got blown out in that game. Granted, it was at Wisconsin. This will be at a neutral field. So, again, each one's in a bubble, but I'm trying to draw a few comparisons. Not so much towards an outcome, but things where Iowa may have struggled a little bit and where Michigan could find success, and I think that running game is one of those things. Iowa lives on turnovers, and outside of one bad interception against Ohio State, Cade McNamara played pretty flawless in that game, and he all season has done a great job of taking care of the football, so I don't expect that to change in this game, especially if the run game gets going like I think it will. Then we haven't really needed a lot out of the passing game, just enough to hurt them to keep them honest. So that would limit Iowa's ability to give their offense good field position. I think Iowa struggles a little bit more when their offense has to go 10, 12, 13 plays, 80 yards to score a touchdown. I think they live on a short field. I think they love a short field. And quite frankly, I think their offense needs a short field. I don't think they consistently get pushed back, lose the field position battle, and then continue to score points at a pace that can keep up with Michigan. I'm going to flat out say that Iowa hasn't played against anybody that can get after the quarterback the way that Michigan can. Not many teams have. Not many teams will. Michigan's on another level right now with the way that Aiden Hutchinson and David Ojabo are playing. So I guarantee you Iowa has not played against a team with the pass rush ability that Michigan has. And quite frankly, Michigan's corners are playing great right now. Our secondary's really stepped up. I love Rod Moore at safety. I know I've said that before, but he doesn't look like a freshman. He plays well. He plays disciplined football. Daxton Hill's been great all season. He's one of the best safeties in the country. I've said that before. But the one that surprised me the most, I could say DJ Turner, but I've already touched on that. And I feel like he just gets better every single week. He's playing really great football right now. But the one that surprised me the most last week against Ohio State was Vincent Gray. Had a great game. He did. Yeah, he got beat a couple times, but you expect that. You're playing against wide receivers that are going to be high NFL draft picks. They are. They're that good. So for Vincent Gray to come out and do the job that he did, I thought he played really well. I did not think he would be able to stay with Ohio State's wide receivers as well as he did. So I want to give him a shout out and give him some credit. When a guy plays well, plays above and beyond expectation, then you got to give them a shout out. So that's what I'm doing. So hopefully those guys can continue that momentum moving forward. And those are all the reasons why I think Michigan will win and why Iowa could find this a very difficult test, the likes of which they have not faced so far this year. So yeah, that's it really. Those are my thoughts on the game. Hopefully the offensive play calling continues to look better. I don't want to say get better, but it has looked better in recent weeks. We're throwing a few more wrinkles into the pass game, which has helped quite a bit. And we have been less predictable when we run, when we throw, when we run inside, when we run, stretch zone. The play calling has just been better. And like I said in my last video, I think that's partly because I think Gaddis and Harbaugh are closer to being on the same page, or at least they feel like they're on the same page at this point. So Harbaugh's giving Gaddis a little more freedom, and Gaddis is staying true to what Harbaugh wants. This is Harbaugh's team, so it's up to Josh Gaddis to, do what Harbaugh wants while sprinkling in some of the elements in the passing game, which is why he was brought here. So it's not like, I don't think it's that Harbaugh doesn't want Josh Gaddis to bring his own flair, his own style, and kind of dump that into the offense a little bit. But he also doesn't want Josh Gaddis to get carried away throwing the ball all the time like they have the last few years. So it's a bit of those two meeting in the middle. And I think based on results against Ohio State, that this meeting in the middle was a really good thing. I think this offense is finding to elevate its game to another level. Son Haskins is playing great. So that's it. That's all I got on this one. My predictions, again, are Michigan by 10. Michigan's rush game over 200 yards and 3 touchdowns. And our defense will get at least 4 sacks in this one. So we'll have to see how it all shakes out. I'm excited. Can't wait for it. Michigan finally got there, and that'll be exciting. And it's good for them and Harbaugh and company. And you're starting to see some recruits, some high-end recruits, starting to finally give their verbal commitment to Michigan. So things are looking up. We'll have to see how this coming weekend shakes out. Remember, all love, all the time. Peace.